Hi everyone, this is Ashley with Sweet Teen Reno Digitals. I'm going to do a tutorial to show you how to use the shape, snoot, window overlays in Photoshop. Just like the other window shadows that I've done tutorials for before, it's similar to that. I'm going to do a few different ones on a few different blending modes. I have opened the image that I already want to use, and I'm going to just go up to File and Place Embedded. You can navigate to the folder where all of your overlays are saved. Mine are saved in this one. And I'm just going to select one of them. Sorry if you can hear my computer, it's loud right now. I'm going to click on one of the boxes right here, and I'm going to go up and click this box right here so I can keep the proportions on my overlay. I'm going to go ahead and change the blending mode to screen. Now if you want white waves, you can do it this way. You could create a layer mask on here, and you could take your black brush at 100% opacity, and you could brush off, but that is a little bit tedious, so you can just come down to your background layer, go to your quick selection tool over here, and select subject up at the top. And go ahead and duplicate that layer, create a layer mask, and press Control or Command if you're on Mac +I on your keyboard to invert that layer. And then you can either hold down Alt on your keyboard and click between these two layers, or you can right click your overlay and create clipping mask, and that's going to place it behind your subject. It usually does a pretty good job around the hair, but if you're needing to, you can use your black brush on the mask here to kind of just brush it off of where you need to. If you need to just brush off a little bit, I would suggest lowering your opacity a little bit and just going and brushing little by little on the layer mask, not on the regular one. I'm actually going to brush off just a little bit there. And then you can leave it like this if you want to, but it doesn't really make much sense because in the image you can see that she's standing a little bit further away from the backdrop and not right up against it. So you wouldn't want, the light here would be a little blurred. So you can go up to the overlay here, go up to File and Blur and Gaussian Blur, and you can add as much blur as you want. Because real snoots have like an optical, you can zoom out a little bit so you can add more blur in the shot, or you can add just a little bit to give it more of a sharper effect. I'm going to go ahead and press OK. And now if you want to keep it white, you can. If you want to actually invert this layer, press Control+I on your keyboard to invert that, and then change the blending mode to multiply. That'll give you black instead of white on your overlay there, but I want to keep it white here. If you want to go up and go to your adjustments, you can add a few just different adjustments in here. Say I wanted to add a hue saturation layer. Click this clipping mask right here so it's only applying to my layer here, and I'm going to click colorize. And then you can change, oops, sorry, it changed the whole background there, which looks pretty cool if you wanted to do it that way. But that is not what I'm wanting to do. So I'm actually going to unclip, and you can hold down Alt and unclip again, or you can right click and release your clipping mask, and then clip that hue saturation there. And then you can click colorize and play with it, and you can make it the same color. So if you wanted to give it like a colorful snoot look, you can do that. This looks like a really cool contrast up against there, so I think I'm going to keep it that. And then you would want to merge these two layers, change the blending mode back to screen, and then you can clip it behind your subject again. And that gives it a colorful look. You do not have to use it on screen also. You can go through, which I almost always use them on screen, but I've been playing around with different blending modes lately, and it just gives, a lot of them just give you a different look. You do have to be careful, yeah, once you get into certain ones, you'll be able to see that backdrop. Then if you change it, and you press that Control-I on your keyboard, and change it to different blending modes that way too, you can get even more different looks. So I'm going to change it back there and just go through all of these ones just to see what different looks I can get. Where did I find that one? Looks pretty cool. That linear dodge almost looks like neon lights. The color dodge does too. That's what it was before on screen, and that's what it is on linear dodge. That looks really cool. I would actually probably keep that one. So it matches the gel lighting on here. And then if you wanted to, you go through different overlays and see what else would look good, you can go ahead and right-click that overlay and convert to Smart Object. And then you can right-click that and replace contents. And then you can go through and you can choose different overlays to see about how a bunch of different ones look. And now if you wanted to colorize them again, you'd have to go back through and do what you want to do there. But this is an easy way to flip through a bunch of them to see the ones you prefer. And obviously you can make them as big or as small as you want. If you want them to kind of go off of the image there. Lower that opacity, add that blur again. That's kind of a cool look. That looks like that was done in Studio. But yeah, there's a lot of different ways to play around with them. You can use different blending modes, you can change the color, flip between all the different. I have 2 sets of window shadow overlays already in my Etsy shop, so I didn't want to, and on the website, but I didn't want to overload the snoots and the shapes with too many windows, but I wanted to put a few different options in there just in case you don't have the windows yet and you want to start with this pack. But I definitely recommend at least at some point getting the one of the windows. That one looks pretty cool, and as you can see, you can toggle on and off the blur here, and you can even right click that and delete Smart Filter. That way you go back to the overlay itself without the blur there. So a lot of different options, a lot of different things you can do. If you have any questions, you can send me a message. If you are a studio maternity photographer, or sorry, studio photography does not have to be maternity. I would love for you to join my group on Facebook. You do have to input your information so I can make sure it is not someone spamming trying to get into the group. And also, if you want more free tutorials, make sure you find my YouTube channel. That will also be linked in the description.